You receive a letter saying the VA has a duty to assist. You think, good, the VA is going to find the records now. Then a month passes. Maybe the clinic never answered. Maybe a service record was not located. Maybe you are not even sure what the VA requested. And now you are asking, what am I supposed to do? Here is the short answer. The duty to assist does not mean the VA has a duty to do everything for you. It means the VA generally has responsibilities to help develop relevant evidence. You still have responsibilities too.
Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast, where we help veterans and their families better understand the VA disability benefits process, one step at a time. I'm your host, Cameron Burrell, a U.S. Army veteran and founder of VetBiz Media. My take today is simple. Treat the duty to assist as a documented partnership, not a handoff. VA has responsibilities, you have responsibilities, and a simple follow-up log can help you see which is which.
We will look at records VA may generally help obtain, information you may need to identify or authorize, what can happen when a record cannot be found, and how to follow up without turning your life into a full-time filing system. We will also talk about C&P examinations and a 5-question check you can use when something feels unclear. This is general education, not legal or medical advice, and it is not an evaluation of any individual claim. Every veteran's evidence and circumstances are different. Verify current information through official VA resources, and consider speaking with a VA accredited veteran service organization, claims agent, or attorney when you have case-specific questions. So, what does duty to assist mean in plain language? Generally, it means VA should make reasonable efforts to help obtain evidence needed to support a claim when the rules and available information support that request. That can include relevant federal records, such as certain service treatment records, military personnel records, or records from another federal agency. It may also include identified private medical records when enough information and the necessary authorization are provided. And depending on the claim and the evidence already available, VA may arrange a medical examination or obtain a medical opinion.
But listen closely to 3 words: reasonable, relevant, and identified. Those words set boundaries. VA is not required to search every place for every document that might possibly relate to your life. A record may not exist anymore. A provider may not respond. A request may not contain enough information to locate the right file. And an examination or medical opinion does not guarantee a favorable result.
Think of it like a shared map. VA may have routes and responsibilities on that map. You still need to identify the destination. You may need to point out the road, provide a release, or hand over a document already in your possession. The duty to assist is meaningful. It is just not a handoff where you walk away and assume every gap will be solved automatically.
Let's start with federal records. If relevant service treatment records, personnel records, or other federal documents are needed, VA may request them through the appropriate channels. Your information can make that request more useful. A unit, duty station, approximate date, type of treatment, or a description of an incident may help narrow the search. You do not need to remember everything perfectly, and you should never invent details to make a story sound complete. If you are unsure, say you are unsure. An honest estimate is better than a confident guess.
Private medical records are where many veterans notice the shared responsibility most clearly. VA may generally make reasonable efforts to obtain records from a private provider that you adequately identify and authorize. And this is where many people get stuck. They think, I named the clinic, so the rest is automatic. It may not be. What might VA need from you? The provider's name, the city or address if you know it, approximate dates of treatment, the type of care or body area involved, and the appropriate authorization if one is required. If you already have the records, you may be able to submit them yourself. Sometimes that is the faster path, especially if the clinic changed ownership, moved to a new record system, or does not respond to an outside request. Picture a fictional example. A veteran had physical therapy at Pine Ridge Physical Therapy several years ago. They remember the clinic and the city, but not the exact address or the first date of treatment. That is not a reason to give up. Gather what is known: the clinic name, the city, an estimated time period, the body area treated, and any old appointment card, insurance statement, patient portal message, or reference in another medical record. The goal is not perfect memory. The goal is a useful trail. Your role also includes reading VA letters carefully. A letter may ask for a release. It may identify a missing detail. It may request evidence or explain an effort already made. That is not paperwork to ignore. That is your next task. Look for the date, the issue involved, the action requested, and any response deadline. If a sentence is confusing, copy that sentence into your notes and ask an accredited representative or the appropriate VA channel for clarification.
And if you already possess relevant evidence, do not assume VA knows about it just because it exists in your home, your patient portal, or an old folder. A document generally has to be submitted and connected to the question being reviewed before it can be considered. Your own account matters too. Explain what happened, when it happened as best you can, what changed afterward, and what records or people may help document it. Keep personal memory separate from what a document says. If a date is approximate, call it approximate.
Now, let's talk about silence, because silence creates a lot of confusion. A provider may not respond. A facility may have closed. A record may have been destroyed under a retention policy. A federal search may not locate the document. Or the information supplied may be too general to identify the correct source. Here is the mistake I want you to avoid. Silence is not the same thing as completion. If you do not know whether a request was sent, answered, or closed out, put that uncertainty in writing. That does not mean a missing record automatically ends a claim. It also does not mean a substitute record will be treated exactly the same way. Depending on the issue, another possible source might be a different facility, an archived system, a personnel file, an insurance record, a pharmacy history, or a statement from someone with first-hand knowledge. Be honest about what an alternative document shows and what it does not show. One missing document does not always tell the whole story, but no one can promise how any evidence will be weighed. This is where a follow-up log becomes useful. Not a giant spreadsheet, not a second job, just a simple record of what happened. Use 5 columns if that is easiest. What was requested, who controls it, when the request or letter appeared, what response you have, and what question comes next. You can add a 6th column for the document supporting your note.
Here is a fictional completed example. March 4th, a VA letter says records are needed from Pine Ridge Physical Therapy. March 8th, authorization submitted. March 29th, no response appears in the file I have reviewed. Next question, did VA send another request, or should I contact the clinic directly for my own copy? That is much more useful than writing something is missing. It gives you a source, dates, a current status, and a focused question.
Keep the system lightweight. Start with the most recent VA letter in front of you. Write down what it asks for. Find the related source or document. If you cannot complete the action, write down why and what information would unblock it. One record, one note, one next question. You do not have to rebuild your entire military and medical history tonight. Organize, verify, execute. That rhythm can turn a large and emotional process into smaller tasks. A quick word about C&P examinations. A lot of veterans hear the word examination and immediately think they have to perform. You do not. Read the notice, put the appointment on your calendar, confirm the time, place, and instructions. If you can attend, make every reasonable effort to do so. If there is a serious conflict, transportation problem, health issue, or other barrier, contact the appropriate party as soon as possible and keep a note of what you did. At the examination, answer honestly and as clearly as you can. Describe your actual history and current limitations, not the answer you think might produce a particular result. If you do not understand a question, ask for it to be repeated. If you do not remember an exact date, say so. Afterward, write down the appointment date, what happened in general terms, and any follow-up you believe is needed. If something went wrong, do not try to decide its legal significance by yourself. Bring the facts to a VA-accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney. Your follow-up questions will usually work better when they are specific. Instead of saying, "Why is the VA ignoring my records?" try asking, "My letter says a request was made to this clinic on this date. I do not see a response. Can you explain whether another request is needed, whether I should obtain the records directly, or whether the file reflects that the records are unavailable?" That wording does not assume the answer. It creates 3 clear questions. Bring your log, the relevant letters, and copies of anything you submitted when you speak with an accredited representative. That preparation can make the conversation more efficient. It also helps separate what you know from what you are assuming. Facts over frustration. Your frustration may be completely understandable, but clear facts give the next person something they can actually review. Before we close, use this 5-question assistance check. What evidence or action was requested? Who controls that evidence? What information or authorization is needed? What response is documented? And what is the next responsible question? If one answer is, "I do not know," that is not failure, it is a signal. Write down the missing information and find the right place to ask. The duty to assist works best when you treat it as a documented partnership, not a handoff. VA may generally help obtain certain federal records, identified private records, examinations, or opinions when the circumstances support that assistance. You still need to identify sources, provide accurate information, authorize records when appropriate, submit evidence already in your possession, read VA correspondence, and participate in scheduled examinations when possible. When something appears incomplete, document what you know and ask a focused question. Do not guess about the outcome. Your action before the next episode is small. Find your most recent VA letter or evidence request. Create one line in a follow-up log. Write the requested item, who may control it, the date, the response you have, and one next question. Just one line. One step, one record, one mission. If the issue remains unclear, take that note to a VA-accredited Veteran Service Organization, claims agent, or attorney for case-specific guidance. And verify current requirements through official VA resources, because procedures and forms can change. Thanks for listening to the Veteran Benefits Reset podcast. This is an independent educational resource, not legal or medical advice, and it does not replace guidance from a VA-accredited Veteran Service Organization, claims agent, or attorney. Every veteran service, medical history, evidence, and claim are different, so verify current information through official VA resources and get qualified help when appropriate. If this episode helped you, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran, family member, or caregiver. Download the free 7-step Veteran Benefits Reset Guide at vetbizmedia.com/veterans7. Your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Take the next responsible step.